Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and officially Happy New Year. Well, it's New Year's Eve. But so they found the fraud in Minnesota come out to $18 billion. That is just one state that they're finding $18 billion in fraud. And that's just one part of what Minnesota represents. That's just the daycare. That's not everything else. If you think about all these small towns and all these different states, the amount of money that is wasted. For instance, in Torrington, Wyoming, where I live, there's a population in the city of Torrington of 6,000 people. They approved $2 million to renovate the airport. An airport that hardly ever gets used. There's 6,000 people here. Denver is within a 3-hour drive, but we need to spend $2 million to renovate an airport. And then you look at the fire department. It's all volunteer. $8 million for a building, $2-3 million for each fire truck. They have 5-6 of them, brand new outfits. You look at the bridge that they put up over the train tracks. It cost like $100 million. That kind of money in a small town gets overlooked. Nobody looks into these things. They just are free to do whatever they want. Now, like I said, Minnesota is just one state where fraud and corruption is happening. Look at the Pentagon. The last 8 audits, which only started in 2018 to today, they failed 8 of them to the tune of trillions of dollars. Nobody even knows the correct number because they failed the audits. They don't even know where the money went. And our federal government is finding out that every state is committing fraud and treason, and American taxpayers are funding that. Everybody wonders, how can someone in Congress and Senate make $175,000 a year, but yet have multiple mansions, multiple yachts, multiple boats, multiple vacations? Because they are scamming us. They have been scamming us for years. It was all part of the system. Doesn't matter Republican or Democrat, they all are in on the take. They're all getting lobby money. They're all getting bought and paid for to influence what everybody else wants them to do. They do not care about the American people one iota. They don't care. They only want you to go to work, pay your taxes, and shut the fuck up. That is what they want from us. They do not want us to ask questions. They don't want us to find out about this. And if we do, they have something in store for us. The New World Order. That entails us living in 15-minute cities, driving electric cars, having unified income, and if we don't vote the way they want us to, they turn off your money and label you a terrorist. Or the other option is they just wipe out 80% of us via civil war or whatever they deem worthy, whether it be a virus or whatever at this particular point in time. They just wipe us off the planet so that way there is not as many of us to fight against them, and then they can control us as slaves, the slaves and peasants that they believe we are. They don't like the fact that we have a voice, and they don't like the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. They would like that to go away because the fraud and corruption that they are currently doing, they do not want anybody to get in the middle of that, because that has been a good, long-standing, running fraud laundering scheme for hundreds of years. Why would they want that to go away? So in the end, I just asked Grok a few minutes ago, how much fraud does he estimate based on what they're seeing in Minnesota and what they're seeing in California? Just in the last 20 years, what does he estimate? And he came up with $85 trillion that he believes that they have stolen and wasted of our money. That's not including the Pentagon. That's not including a bunch of other platforms. That's just the waste and fraud in the states. $85 trillion. I believe that over the last 100 years, the figure is so high that no one could even fathom how much they have stole from us. 350 trillion probably plus. The United States has a net worth of $600 trillion. Okay? There are 300 million people in the United States. China has 1 billion people, 1.5 billion people in China, and they only have a net worth of $1 trillion, 1.5 trillion. How in the hell do they live so comfortably and so well in China with that 1.5 billion people, and they only have a net worth of 1.5 trillion? The U.S. has 350 million people and a net worth of $650 trillion, and yet everybody is scraping by, trying to live. There's thousands, if not hundreds of millions of people struggling. People homeless, living on the streets. Our veterans are not taken care of. There is no health care. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for any of these people. And what it boils down to is greed. Greed. These people are greedy, power-hungry assholes, and they don't care about you or me. So I think that everybody that's talking about the tax revolt and, possibly getting together a well-established militia, like it says in the Constitution, and standing up to these people because they work for us, not the other way around. When there is a tyrannical government and they are stealing, looting, and not looking out for the American people, we are supposed to change them out. We're supposed to arrest the people who are breaking the law, put them in jail, and start over. And I think that we're really close to that. Let me know your thoughts.